Hello and welcome to the Battling Barrow and another Pirates of Mystara campaign Waffle session. This will be hopefully 2 sessions in one. It all depends on how long this waffle goes. The way I waffle, I might split up into 2, but hopefully this will be 1 session. In both sessions, we are still down a player, so George the genie does come into play at some point. Won't cover when. If you really want to know, you can watch the full Let's Play version, full play session on Patreon for free. But yeah, so we are back in Port Blacksand. That's where we start off, and I have a little encounter in the Fiend. Basically, just one of Clegg's minions bursts in, gives him a warning before collapsing in a pile of fish and gore. Just really to keep that pressure up. That, you know, there is something going on here. But also the main part for this beginning bit is the next day they get summons to go and see Lord Azzur. Now Port Blacksand and Lord Azzur are just taken from the Fighting Fantasy series. I've just transposed them over into Black Eagle Barony. So if you're new to this, I don't know why you start off with this one. Go back and watch the others, but yeah, that's why. And Lord Azzur is pretty much got exactly the same character from Fighting Fantasy. He all I've done in that, he was from Chul, I think. Yeah, Chul. But in this, he comes from the Emirates of Ilarum, from Jabor. He was a son of a sort of minor noble over there. At a young age, he gets kidnapped by the cult of Zargon. Now, Mystara people might recognize Zargon from a certain B4 module, and yes, I am planning to run that even at a higher level though, so that should be interesting. He was on board a load of merchant ships as part of the cult of Zargon, and then as a teenager he gets kidnapped again by a pirate. This time it's Captain Clegg who kidnaps him, and he joins his crew. This is poor Clegg went totally tonto and is on his evil undead immortality rampage he's on now. During that time they sailed around, and then when he started going a bit, you know, really evil, Azzur leaves, forms Blacksand, and still does the same. And so from now on it's pretty much similar. No one sees his face. He's always got a face covering on and robes. Had the black coach that rides down. Occasionally sets sail on his ships to do a bit of pirating. He is the pirate lord of Keramikos. So they get to meet him. Same sort of thing as you would if you know Blacksand. When you first Blacksand Fighting Fantasy, when you first meet him, you would meet him in the screen. And so that's what happens to the players. They go there, they meet him, and he basically tells them that he's heard about their exploits. You know, the Tempest is rising. That's what I'm calling this adventure. So yeah, just to waffle on the side, when this campaign first started, I was running old pre-written modules and trying to form them into a narrative. Because as a kid I never run those modules, and I always wanted to. I was homebrewed because I couldn't afford modules, miniatures or modules. Always went for miniatures. Now I can get hold of them, I thought I'd grind them, but now in the campaign's at a stage where I'm going back to sort of homebrewing my own adventures. So now it's more like writing adventures for the campaign, writing a campaign and sort of forming them into sections, adventures that aren't individual, they lead up to a whole campaign. So yeah, this section, if you like, this adventure is called the Tempest Rising. It's all to do with giving the players access to a patron. They're level 12 now, and I find writing adventures for higher levels actually easier than low levels. A lot of people don't, they see it the other way around, and normally campaigns die out around level 7, so they say. Whereas I just find it easier because at low levels it's like, what adventures we're going to be doing? You're not going to be doing the end of the world or something epic. You're going to be like, here's some giant rats in a cellar. I mean, sure, it's fun, but not very interesting. So higher levels, we can get to get into patrons, and we get patrons. Speaking of patrons, go and join mine. Patrons. Someone that can, a high level guide that can guide you and say, look, this is going on over there, go and sort it out. It's world ending stuff. So that's what Azzur will be for them. He's their pirate lord. He's heard about their exploits trying to stop Clegg, and he wants to aid because, you know, Clegg winning is good for no one. So anyway, he sort of says, and also part of this campaign, just in case you don't know, Clegg has 8 pieces of 8 that he's put his immortal soul into, and he's got to perform a ritual, and then he'll be a true immortal. So players need to collect these 8 pieces of 8, and yes, it's a MacGuffin. Each one of those will equal an adventure section in this campaign. It's great. It's sort of self-writing, but you don't want it to be that every session. So this one, there's also going to be, as Azzur says, there's spies, Clegg spies within sort of the pirate network that the players have to go and find out who they are. First one is this one. He's got news that there is a guy called, I forget his full name, but his nickname is Gloomy Hooks. That's what we're going to refer to him. I think it's something Gastapoo or something like that. Henry Gastapoo. Gloomy Hook. Watch the full version over on Patreon if you want to get the full name. He is been seen on Royster Island. They believe he comes from Royster Island, not a Mackay native, but he just sort of lived there at one point. He's been seen in Royster Island in the Kingdom of Ryandi, so the players are dispatched there to go and retrieve him and bring him back to Azzur for questioning. And that's the start. That's the whole point of this convention. Tempest Rising. They'll do this. If they succeed in this, they'll get a full position as pirates of Azzur. They'll get full access to him, enter the palace whenever they want, and lots more resources. So it's well worth doing. So they decide to set out to Irendi. They worked out it's going to take them 2 weeks. Their ship has 4 cargo slots, as it were. Each slot can hold a week's worth of provisions, food and drink for 1 slot. I'm not going to split it up into 2. That's just too mean. So each slot has one slot, a week's worth of food and drink. They decide just to buy 1 and then restock in Curitiba and go on, because the fresher the food, the better. Otherwise, there is a chance of scurvy in our game world. So that is their plan. They leave the other 3 empty just in case they come across something. Now, I know they will as soon as they leave. I've planned a merchant encounter as soon as they're about halfway through their journey. What I didn't know is what nation or what cargo that merchant will have, so I rolled that up on my ocean random encounters table, which will be, as when this video goes out, available for free for patrons, or if you're a free member patron, you can buy it. Now, unfortunately, I've put the price, set the price of these things as a loader on there as well for free patron members. It's £3. I would like to go lower and just make it £1, but that's the lowest I can go in Patreon, so apologies for that. As soon as that lowers, I will drop it down, but the cheapest way really is to join up for a £1 a month Patreon and then get access to all the other free stuff that I put up there and extra content as well. Don't normally chill out my Patreon, but I think I will now. But yeah, that's where the ocean table gone. So what did I roll? I rolled up a merchant comes from Darrakin, and for the cargo I got a 1, which is a person, and I wasn't prepared for that. I was just hoping it was just going to be stuff, but to think on the spot, so I come up with, it's the merchant's daughter that he is doing an arranged marriage with some other nation, so he's taking her down there to meet the family and what have you, and he's on his way back. They've got no other money, no other real goods. So this displeases the players. I thought they would get, because they were expecting some plunder. So what they do is they put the crew, conscript some of the crew members into their own, put the rest and the merchant's daughter into some lifeboats and send them off into the distance. They keep the food. They use that to restock for the next leg of the journey. And they also take the ship. Now this is unexpected. They took 2 cannons off the ship to supply their own and loads of cannonballs. But the rest of the ship, they were going to stop off in Curitiba and Alcove Island anyway to restock for food. We have to buy food now, but they take the ship there and sell it for like, I do £2 off the price. I'm using the prices that are in Ghost of Saltmarsh for the ships. So they get quite a bit of plunder from that. They still have to divide it equally amongst the crew. We'll cover that in the next waffle about that, hopefully, if I remember. But yeah, they sell the ship, but it gives me a chance, because I've been trying to hint. In my game, they've also got, as well as like a direct patron like Lord Azzur, I want immortal patrons to sort of guide them. Originally it was Jasper for Walker, but he died, so Jasper went. Anirafel, who is the player who could make this session, has Khalifa. Galfenwith, who's a dragon rider, will meet the Great One Dragon Immortal, sort of, during the course of this adventure, may have done already. But yeah, so this one is a new Immortal I've come up with for Ash, who is has into guns and things, flintlocks. So we're going to have Flinty the blacksmith, and he's there really to sell them, because, you know, my campaign's going to have a lot of undead and a lot of werewolf or were creatures, and obviously flintlock pistols, lead bullets are useless against those. So really Flinty's there to provide stuff like +1 pellets, bullets, whatever for flintlock, or +2 and things like that. So he's there to create the more exotic. I mean, flintlocks and that are rare in my world anyway. It's like, consider set 200 years in the future to when Mystara normally is, the golden age of pirates for Mystara, as it were. So flintlocks and bullets are rare anyway, but these are really rare, so you're only going to be able to get these in Alcove Island. But that's that, and then we carry on going on with the adventure, sailing down to Royce Island, where we meet the Mackay natives. Normally they're quite happy. I'm trying to do these like Hawaiian things with, you know, the flower nectars, all things like that. They're normally quite happy, but the village seems off, quite sullen, quite down. They chat with the village chief, and he lets them know that during the night villagers have been going missing, and they blame a witch in the swamps who is responsible for this. The players ask him if Gloomy Hook has been seen, and they say, yeah, Gloomy Hook's really an unliked character. He's not native to the village, he just lived there. No one likes him, but he was seen there just before the last raid, so the witch has probably stolen him. The villagers aren't rich by any means, but they say if the players help out dealing with the witch, if ever the players sail past nearby, they can use this as a free restock, so they don't have to buy supplies. That works out, you know, really with pirates. Most of the time in real pirates, they weren't going for gold, they were going for supplies, medicines, food, clothes. That's what they saw, highly sought after. But so we're going for that. So they agreed to do so. They set out the next day, and really that here is the end of the first session, and then we start again. Next session, still a player down. I was hoping they could come back for this one. I only have 3 players, so when one can't make it, it's 2 players. It's still fun and doable, but really I want to get an extra player in. 4 players, so hopefully most of the time we'll have 4 players, but if one can't make it, we've still got 3 at all times, is my thinking. But yeah, let's carry on and see how we go, shall we, on this next part of the session. Yeah, so where are we? Yeah, so they're going to make their way through the swamp to go to the witch hut, which is sort of in the centre of the swamp. On their way through, they see there's sort of some planks that sort of end halfway through, like platforms that end halfway through before they start wading through the swamp. On these platforms, they see claw marks and acid damage. They don't put 2 and 2 together to make 4, but this is signs of a black dragon. On this part of the leg of their journey, they get attacked by giant toads. I'm just really throwing up. Again, there's a swamp encounter table that's available for patrons. I kind of did planned, unplanned. I use that to. So how I work is I love waffles. Is when I write my adventures, I use these tables to sort of roll random encounters. You like to roll randomly to see what I'm doing, and then work that into the adventure. These are planned, unplanned, as it were, and they're there still in my DM folder, just in case the players do anything untoward. I can rely upon these to roll up random encounters, or, you know, if they're camping out, it takes longer than normal than my planned encounters. I can have an extra encounter. I kind of treat this like my travel, like the Lord of the Rings RPG, or what was Adventures in Middle Earth, or the One Ring. Just that it's a great way of doing it. Work out the distance that they've got travelled. I know if they're going along the known path, as it were, and I work out how many encounters I want for that, and do it that way. It's a good way of doing things. It's only if they go off piece, as it were, and they go a longer way of saying, I've got that, I've still got access to the tables to roll encounters. But anyway, that's inside. After the toads, they come across the hut, and it's the home of Tian and Ease Baramunji. Spoilers for this, put your ears in fingers if you don't want to hear spoilers. This is actually the immortal Khalifa in human form. The players don't know this. I think Barramundi is the Triton name for Khalifa, so the clue's there, but obviously you've got to really know the world of Mystara to sort of know this. But anyway, she explains that it's not her but a black dragon that's doing it, and the village elder is an idiot. The only reason he's blaming her is because she has... the village elder's son wants to get married. This is actually sort of taken from the Kingdom of Byrendi book. There's like a mini plot hook in there, so sort of taken that in there, the background for this. Son wants to get married. There's no one eligible in the village. It's quite a small village, so the son took a fancy to Barramundi. She's obviously not interested. So from that, the elder is sort of annoyed with her, so blames her for the villagers disappearing, when it's quite clearly the work of a black dragon. She tells her, they ask her if she's seen Gloomy Hook. She says she hasn't, but she can work some magic and come up with a compass that would point the way to where Gloomy Hook is if the players sort out the black dragon. You know, the villagers are being a bit nasty to her, but she wants to protect them still, so yeah. The black dragon lives in a chapel further on in the swamp. It's an old Phaeacian chapel from when this was a plantation, and the dragon now uses it as its lair. So they agree to this, obviously, because they want to get Gloomy Hook, complete the adventure. So yeah, they carry on with this part of the adventure. Making their way through the swamp, there is a swamp drake encounter. If you remember the video about swamp drakes, yeah, so I use those here. There was meant to be one for each player, so that would have been 3. Normally I'd drop it down to 2 due to being the player down. Even then, these things hit like a beast. Ash gets really badly damaged at this stage. He's wrapped up in the tongue as well, and he's about to get devoured by this swamp drake. But Gelfenwith jumps onto Draco's back and flies in the air. She's a dragon rider, but she doesn't often do this, so it's good that she's doing this. And she's going to swoop down. As she's doing this, Ash Misty Steps out. He's got boots and Misty Step, which doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity, because if it did, he'd be almost dead. And he appears just in midair, 30 foot away, as Draco and Gelfenwith swoop past and grabs hold of him. Now, Draco is only strong enough really for one rider, so what I do is just make him get far enough away so the swamp dragons lose interest, and then sort of crash down safely on the ground. There's then about a couple of hours travel to the chapel. By the time they've healed, I think Ash, I'm not ever worried about Ash, he has a ring of regeneration that heals a few hit points every 10 minutes. So by the time 2 hours of travel's passed with no other encounters, he's healed up. They've got a potion of healing as well. So I'm not worried. I don't want to weaken them before the black dragon encounter. The black dragon encounter was going to have some more swamp drakes to back the dragon up. I dropped those as they were player down. And I also don't use any lair actions. The dragon itself I haven't nerfed in any way. It's still an adult black dragon. I just don't use lair actions. I think that would have potentially killed the party, because as it was, one breath attack aimed squarely at Gelfenwith almost kills her. But before the combat starts, they're exploring this empty chapel, and the black dragon is in a lake next to the chapel. Its hoard is on the top part of this ruined thing. Black dragons like art and stuff, so we'll get to that in a bit, what's up there. But the black dragon bursts out of the swamp, instantly taunts Gelfenwith. Try and bring a bit of lore from the Dragon Riders of Mystara books into this. You know, it taunts him saying, the Dragon Riders are long gone from this world. You think you're a Dragon Rider. Trying to sow the seeds of doubt. He sort of looks at Draco and says, and then looks at Gelfenwith, and the black dragon sort of says, you know, you haven't even put an armoured saddle on your dragon. You care that little about him, really. That is because I got a new Draco model that I printed off with armour on, so it's just that's the armour's going to be part of the horde, so that was setting that up for that. Yeah, and as I said, the combat went down it's pretty tense. Yeah, Gelfenwith almost got taken out by one dragon breath. They're both looking at their sort of character sheets and trying to get the best out of the character, seeing what they can do to pull out all the stops, and it was quite tense. I think if it had gone for another round of combat, they would have been, it would have been a TPK. As it was, they managed to squeak through, beat the dragon, get the treasure from the top, and in there's like some art and a bit of gold, a bit of this, but 2 important items: the aforementioned dragon armor, so Draco can wear that, and there is a plot device for an adventure seed I've already sown last year, really. But this is going to carry on. Hopefully, if I can remember, I'm going to put a picture up here of it. It's basically a prop from the Goonies. It's got the coin from the Goonies that will help them in this adventure when they go. And it's a map of the Savage Coast. So when they set, there's going to be an adventure set in the Savage Coast, and it's going to effectively be the Goonies. So that's what that is. They return to Tiananese, who gives them the compass, and they follow it back. It takes him back to the village, but the compass then points out to sea. He has set sailed and scarpered. So with this, they set sail and jump on the ship. Now, the system for this is I roll which direction they've got to go. He's the Gloomy's sailing, and for how many miles. He is 2 rolls in front of him, if you like. I also roll, there's a 50% chance there is an encounter, and if there's an encounter, they have to play out the encounter, and then it adds an extra roll before they catch up with him. Now, when I play tested this, I basically most of the time ended up with either 0 or no encounters. You know, so 1 encounter and then they'll catch up with him, kind of thing. But when we played this, it was so I rolled the direction, rolled the distance, rolled for an encounter. So that means they still got to do 2 more rolls after this. So we play out the encounter. A lot of it was another pirate vessel or a naval vessel that had no interest in them because they hadn't offended. I think it was Irendi actually for 2 times, luckily for the roll. And they hadn't, if it was Darrakin or something, Darrakin Merchant, Darrakin Navy, yeah, that might be in trouble. But yeah, it was a naval vessel in Irendi, so they hadn't upset the Irendi Navy. So most of the time it was just passing by, but it did mean, yeah, we have to roll again. So next time it was direction, distance, encounter, direction, distance, encounter. And I was getting a bit worried because we were pushed for time. But luckily we do catch up with Gloomy, and yeah, naval combat, board in, get Gloomy, pull him back to ship, take him to Azzur. We sail home, take him to Azzur. He questions him, sends the players away, says to come back the next day. On the way back, what I forgot to mention at the beginning thing, because it's like me just forgetting that I know Port Blacksand, you may not. There's a bridge with heads on, execution heads, where they put heads on to go into Lord Azzur's palace. They saw it on the way there right at the beginning, and on this time there is Gloomy Hook with a very gloomy look on his face as he's now been executed. Azzur says he's sort of looked into his mind. I know, however, he does that. And so what this effectively gives, I give the players options for the next adventure. The options are: we can go to the Savage Coast, do that adventure. We can go to the Serpent Peninsula, because there's these are seeds that have already been sown. He says Gloomy Hook talked about Azzur's homeland in the Emirates of Ilarum. That will be the Lost City, a higher level Lost City. Or so that'll be basically what I'm trying to get here is there'll be a jungle adventure for Serpent Peninsula, pretty much a saily, cavey dungeon adventure for Savage Coast, desert adventure for the Ilarum, and the other option is this is sort of taken again from an adventure seed in the Kingdoms of Ilarum, Kingdoms of Irendi book. There's an adventure about the Hope Stones, said to have been destroyed, but they're kept in the vault of the People's Temple. And in there, when Clegg was a cleric still of Irendi, he put a piece of 8 in there for storage, a conch of Aphasia, Alphaeacia conch in there. We'll cover this more in the next adventure, because that's the one they pick. They figure that seems to be more in keeping with what they've been doing in IRND. So I'm going to go for that one, and they're seeing it as basically a bank heist, a vault heist, to get this piece of 8 back. They see it as almost the next step, the next logical step. So that's the one they picked, and that's the one we are going to be covering next time. And I think I'll leave that waffle here. I managed to get it done in about 25 minutes, which is great. 2 sessions in 25 minutes. Thank you for watching and listening to Waffle. Please go and join Patreon, even if it's just a free member. If you want to join it over there is, if you do want to join, yeah, as I said, I put loads of downloads like tables and the full play sessions there for free members, and there's extra content there. I don't hawk it out as much as I should. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say before I go. I know what's going to happen as soon as I shut off. I'll be like, oh yeah, I was meant to mention that. So all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching. Until next time, stay safe, take care, bye bye.